Hi again guys, it's Claire, back with card number 2 or video number 2 for Craftstash for you. We're playing with the Apple Blossom All Occasions collection, the embossing folders and dies. So that's the original folder, and then we've got 3 new embossing folders, a gorgeous collection of dies and sentiments. More details about all of those over in video number 1. So if you've got to this video first, stop for a minute, go back, find video number 1 from me, and watch that one first. And now we're on card number 2. So this time it's the feminine card. We've done a masculine simple card just a minute ago. We're now going to make this feminine one, which is a little bit more complicated. Not too much, but it's got a little bit more going on. So let's crack on with that. So again, I've got my usual card base, which is a 14.8 by 14.8 centimetre square card base. I've cut down a piece of red cardstock at 14.5 by 14.5 just to sit on the front there, so I can go ahead and stick that on. There's a mark on there, so I'm just going to make that hidden underneath here. Like so. Okay, now the first part of this card is very similar to the one that we done on the masculine card. So I'm going to emboss 2 pieces, the floral and the stripe, integrate them so they work together, and then do a sentiment across the middle. So I've got 2 pieces of cardstock, and this time I'm working with the original folder, which is the original that folder, which gives me these gorgeous stripes. I just really like those simple stripes. And then I'm working with the new fancy floral one to get these flowers on the top. So exactly the same as I've done before, just head over to the Big Shot machine, run these through and emboss them on 2 bits of card, and these bits of card have cut down to 14 by 14. Okay, so these have just been through the embossing, through the Big Shot machine. Oh, look how beautiful that embossing is. As I said in video number 1, I hope that this embossing is showing up as nice as what it is in real life. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that's the first one, and the second part is this floral. That is so lovely. Really, really nice. I like that a lot. So exactly the same as what I've done before. I'm just going to mix them and make them work together. I'm going to cut straight through the middle. And like I said before, you could cut off this one and, you know, reuse that part and that part. I'm not going to, because I actually think, like I said, it's nicer to just stick this straight on top of here and get it lined up perfectly. But if you're worried about wasting that cardstock, then by all means cut it off and use it. Okay, so I'm sticking my floral over the top of that. So now I've got a lovely floral with a stripe. This is messy, but it doesn't matter because we're going to cover that up. So set that aside for a minute, and onto our sentiment. So again, using our wavy die, I'm going to head over and cut a white piece of cardstock. So I've just got a little white strip, run that through the machine just to give me a white wavy strip. Okay, I'm back from the machine. There's my little strip. Now this time on this card we're actually going to stamp on there. Last time I used the other embossing folder to give me a embossed happy birthday, but this time I'm going to use one of the stamps from the stamp set. And I'm going to use this birthday wishes one here. Okay, you can see obviously it's curved exactly the same, but it's going to fit on there perfectly. I'm going to use my Misty to do the stamping, but you don't need to. If you had a long block, obviously it would work fine. I just like using my Misty. So I'm going to pop this in here. Now obviously because it's not a square piece of paper, you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it lined into a corner perfectly, but I'm still butting it down into a corner and down to the bottom so that it can't really move anywhere. Line up my sentiment, and then use the Misty Door just to pick that up And then I'm going to ink up my stamp. Yeah, pop that magnet back in place. Ink up my stamp and then stamp over. So I'm just using black VersaFine ink to give a nice crisp stamp. And there you go, perfect first time. Really, really nice. I love that that all fits on so nicely together. Okay, now again, as I've done on the first card, I want to edge this strip with a piece of red. I want to make that pop out from the card. You don't have to, you could just leave it plain if you wanted, but I want to have colour around the edge. So I'm going to use my wave die again to head over and cut another wave from just a red strip of cardstock. Okay, so back from the machine again, there's my red strip, and I'm going to cut this straight down the middle. And it can be quite rough, it doesn't matter, because you're not going to see anything anyway. So I'm going to pop some tape on the back of here. And then simply follow the curve. To get that wave. There you go, then we're going to stick that onto the panel that we made earlier. So this is our stripe and our floral mashed together, so you get a different, you can mix and match. Pop that across the front. And turn it over and trim off any excess that you've got. Okay, so that's the basic part of our card done, so we can now flat stick that onto our card base. Like so. Heading back to the dies again, I'm going to use this butterfly die, which I've got here, which is a really pretty butterfly, just to cut out a couple of butterflies to add onto the front of my card. I was going to do flowers. They're really, really pretty flowers. I cut out 3, mounted them up, and they look lovely, but I'm a bit of a butterfly lover, so I was drawn to the butterfly. So I'm gonna do my butterflies. So I'm gonna head over, again, just from a scrap of white, cut out 2 butterflies. And there they are, aren't they lovely? Really beautiful butterflies. Got to be one of my most favourite butterflies that I've got, actually. Really, really nice. So we're just going to stick those onto the front of our card. So I just use my scotch just because it's quick, but you would actually be better using a tiny bit of wet glue for that. Pop that one there, and one at the top on this big embossed flower. And then I'm simply adding some red gems into the centres, just to bring out that red and make the butterflies' bodies pop out. And puff up their wings a little bit. So that's the front of our card done. Now, to make this one a little bit more fancy for a lady, I want to decorate the inside as well. So that's the outside or front completely done. We're just going to do an insert. So I've got another piece of red cardstock, the same as I had for the front, so this piece around here, cut to 14.5 by 14.5, and another piece of white cut to 14 by 14, so that fits in there. So just working on this piece for a minute, I want to add a sentiment and a little bit of embellishment around the edge. So I'm grabbing my Misty again. I'm going to pop my piece of white into my Misty. And from the stamp set, I'm going to pull out these two fancy little flourishes. And also I would like to do this with love. So on the front of the card we've got birthday wishes, and I want to do the with love. Now I don't want the whole stamp stamped across the middle. I want to mask off some of it just so that it just puts with love in there. So I'm going to straighten it up. Forget this bit. For this bit we're just going with that middle with love. And I'm going to have a flourish up at the top there, and then one down here. I'm going to close my Misty door and just pick up all those stamps once I'm happy with their position. I think that's good. So I've picked up all those stamps. They're super sticky obviously because they're brand new at the minute, but that's the good thing about the Misty, you can just realign your bit of paper. So my stamps are picked up. I'm just going to turn this round so it's in shot for a second. So I've got my swirls where I want them, and I've got my with love where I want it. Now I don't want, as I say, to stamp those outside with love, so I'm just going to mask them off with a tiny bit of post-it note, so that when I'm popping the ink on, I'm only inking up this middle one here. I'll show you. So I've only inked up the middle with love. I'll do my swirls as well while I'm here. So I've got plenty of ink on swirls, plenty on that with love. Take off my little post-it notes and then carefully stamp down. And then very carefully lift up again. Oh, and it's stamped perfectly first time anyway. So that's it, a really simple sort of insert into your card, and just shows you that you can use, you don't have to use the whole swirl, you can just use the middle words out of that. I'll just give that a couple of seconds to dry, and then I'm going to stick it onto my red piece that I just cut. And then flat stick the entire piece into the middle of our card. I just find it easier to turn it sideways to line up these edges, but whatever you're comfortable with. And that's it. So we've got a really super simple card, but so pretty, and again, an easy one to use and give out to anyone. Hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and also obviously video number 1 if you've watched that one as well. Thanks again for watching, and I shall see you again very soon. Bye bye.